I feel like I'm just laughing and singing.
I know, just laughs and
Laugh
cheers.
and cheers.
Welcome to the Kindred Spirit Podcast, a show all about the board game Spirit Island. Here we'll talk about analytics and strategies within the game, as well as a plethora of other topics that can be found within it. 'Tis the beginning of the end. Today we commence the analysis of our final adversary in this series of ours, and it's England.
We made it.
We've done it.
We've come this far.
And what do we have to show for it?
Oh.
Scrapes, bruises, wounds, memories,
Injuries.
glory.
Battle scars.
Let's get to it. Alrighty. I figured I might
Fitting
as well.
to say that.
I
You
might
had
as well,
to.
That's right. Right off the bat, I'm gonna apologize. I am coming off of a summer cold, which is fun, but don't worry. Today is the best that I felt. I feel as if 4 days ago was the absolute worst. Then I woke up the next morning just a little bit better.
You sounded rough that first
a little bit better, and a little bit better. And I woke up this morning feeling a little bit better. So
We'll take it.
yeah, I think
What are
this
you at, like
is
78% or something?
honestly, I feel as if I'm like 87 to 90.
Okay.
So like high 80s, low 90s in the percentage. So
And I
I'm-
never give 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I do a lot of work, don't I?
Anyway, thanks, editing Ryan.
That's funny. That's great. Man, this is kind of... Oh,
Here we
this is
are.
our last one for now. But like, still, I had so much fun
For
with
the adversaries.
adversary.
Yeah, last one.
Man.
Best for last.
Best for last. Yikes.
It's funny how England has been like the benchmark
Oh, I know.
since
They
2017.
have been
since
the
release.
benchmark of difficulty. Yeah.
So much so, I feel people warp their tier list based on how good you are
I've seen that.
against England.
I've seen it.
Honestly.
And before Jagged Earth came out, a lot of the talk I would see was people about that kind of thing. Like, why is Ocean so high? Why is Lightning so high? Lightning's actually not that
S-tier.
great. Yeah, but against England, they're great.
So that means they're the best.
Why is Thunderspeaker so high? Well, Thunderspeaker, first off, is great, but they're great against England. Oh!
People would put River at B or C, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, what? And they're like, whoa.
Oh, England. Oh, yeah, okay.
They must be trashing the entire game then.
Yeah. That is waste no more time and get into it. There's a helpful little clarification here about England as they're represented in the game. The alternate history of the British Isles has taken a different course from our own. Scotland remains independent, for one thing, and while England is certainly powerful, neither it nor the great powers of our own history are quite so dominant in this one. Queen Elizabeth I of England married Robert Dudley, son of the Duke of Northumberland in 1562. The marriage was initially a scandal due to the suspicious circumstances surrounding the death of Dudley's first wife, and inspired a revolt in several noble houses. However, the co-monarchs, Robert I and Elizabeth I, grew in popularity after the suppression of the revolt in 1564, and the birth of their son Edward in 1566. With the defeat of an attempted invasion from Spain and Scotland in 1587, the Kingdom of England became one of the premier naval powers in the North Atlantic. After the death of Robert in 1588 and Elizabeth in 1603, their son, Edward VII, became King of England. England was only briefly involved in the religious wars on the continent in the 17th century. Following a disastrous invasion attempt in France in 1633 and a clash with Scotland in 1651, the Kingdom of England focused on fortifying the Scottish frontier and building up its naval power. Unable to protect power on the continent and constrained to southern Britain, the Kingdom of England was one of the first to seek colonies in the New World, using its overseas possessions to provide citizens with opportunities that were increasingly hard to come by at home.
And it's cool because they are one of the first in the game, in the base game, and you do feel them seeking those colonies.
You certainly do.
When you play
they
them.
spread quick. There's 2 typos in here. They almost got me. Century.
I was wondering if you would like stumble.
17th century. There's an L there. Shouldn't be there. And overseas, there's no E there, so it's oversass. So they're using it to oversass.
Can editing Ryan edit the wiki or no? What are the powers of editing Ryan?
I have power, but not here.
Not in this world.
I feel like Saruman and Gandalf, but when he's in the second movie casting out Saruman when he poisoned Theoden's mind. mind, you have no power here.
That's how you feel.
I may have power over our own devices, but I have nothing over
Spirit
the
Island Wiki, right.
I am powerless there. So what does the book have to say?
I missed the book. We didn't have it for Scotland. We had a page.
It's so nice to have
we
a
had
book
the Finder
again.
page.
I know. We had the Finder FAQ.
Yeah.
The book says, buildings, and more buildings.
Yep.
England sends so many immigrants that the colonies spill over into unexplored lands. It doesn't start out fast, but constantly pushes its borders forward. They will push hard to found a capital during stage 2. England is notably easier for spirits good at wrecking towns, i.e. lightning swift strike. I also like to bring up Heart of the Wildfire or Thunder Speaker because they all have destruction in their kit, not damage.
I wish the book would have said that because they say wrecking. I wish they would say just
specifically destroying.
Destroying.
Well, about that, they weren't really intending the destroy loophole to be a thing. So
Anyway, moving on.
Habsburg shows up and, okay, let's fix
now
that.
we fix it.
This adversary is notably harder for spirits which rely on moving or killing explorers to prevent invader builds, i.e. shadows flicker like flame.
They need a nerf.
Oh, look, it's shadows.
Even the book's taking a dump on them.
I totally see it. The manipulation of explorers isn't going to be so great. Lure has really good manipulation of explorers. Like they said, Shadows has really good manipulation.
River's good at moving
Right,
explorers
River's
around.
good at that. Mist is good at that. But England doesn't really care about their explorers so much.
And you shouldn't either when you play them.
And you are definitely going to see that represented in their stats. So let's get into it.
Base difficulty of 1 with an additional loss condition called Proud and Mighty Capital. Here it is. If 7 or more buildings are ever in a single land, the invaders win.
7.
That's a lot. You'll never get there.
7. Yeah,
That's a high number.
That's a lot.
I never get 7 unless I'm playing as Finder. Then you're like 15.
We're going to get into that later.
Yeah, that's true.
Different than France. France required a specific number of towns.
Yes.
This one, it's either cities or towns, because it's just a building.
Yeah, just buildings and in one land.
And in one land, yeah. So this one, I would say, is about medium writer's block on my brain when I'm playing against them. It's decent, but it's not the worst. It's just, okay, I start worrying when there's maybe the 4th or 5th.
You can see it coming, for sure.
You see it coming, and so it's actually not the worst.
Yeah.
For me, personally, France is the most anxiety-inducing.
France has been, at least for us, we're like, oh,
I've said that a billion times by now. I don't care. That's still the truth. France just freaks me out when I'm like, ah!
Even Russia, if you're not a beast spirit, there's so many beast spawning powers in the deck.
Russia's is kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Habsburg with the Blight.
This one, decent.
Yeah.
It's not chump change, but it's not crazy bad.
With this one, it's not as anxiety-inducing as France, where all of a sudden, 3 explorers build 3 towns. That's crazy. And then you lose. With this one, you can see it coming, but that doesn't always mean you can stop it. Yeah. That's what I feel about it.
We're going to get into that.
Right.
Their escalation, in and of itself, actually isn't so bad by itself. But then you see what else they do, and you're like, oh.
Wait. It keeps stacking on each other.
Yeah. The difficulty with England is that what they do actually isn't too sensational. It's simple and it's straightforward, but they don't stop! Anyway, the escalation. They call it building boom. On each board with buildings. Wow.
I've never heard it read that way. So every board.
Build in the land with the most buildings. Oh, build in the land with the most buildings. Hey, wait a minute. Don't they win if they get 7 buildings in a single land?
Wait.
I don't like where this is going.
What a fitting name, Building Boom.
I don't like where this is going at all.
I actually never noticed on each board with buildings, because I've always had boards with buildings when playing them.
I know, like...
It's always triggered for me.
Right. Unless you have a ridiculously great opening play.
Sure.
Or Laura's there.
Or Laura's is wrecking.
Then you're pretty much going to have it, like, all the time. On each board with buildings, that's going to be like, on each board with lands on it.
If you're playing the game, build.
You're pretty much every single board.
Because we were used to Scotland, where it's on basically the worst board. Yeah. If you're doing bad and have the most buildings, you get an extra. And,
you'll play against Sweden and you find ways to, you can thwart their escalation effect. This escalation effect is kind of hard to stop.
No getting around this one unless it's like extremely low difficulty or something.
That said, I think think I actually like Sweden's the least. Like, this one isn't as bad as Sweden's.
Boy, did you hate Sweden's.
I hate
feel like you still
Sweden's escalation.
You're still sore from that.
I hate it!
You hated that one.
But this one, like I said, it's just more of the same.
Right.
And that same is just, oh, they build again. Yes, if they get 7 buildings, then you die. But still, like I said, it's not the worst.
And you can kind of manipulate if you can, like, skip actions. You can plan
Yeah.
that out. Or if you have a disease in
It
them,
says build.
you can stop builds.
You can stop builds. Can't stop add. And it didn't say add. So,
To level 1.
here we go.
We're at 3 difficulty. Fear cards. 3, 4, 3.
So that's 10.
10 already.
Right off the bat.
It is called Indentured Servants Earn Land. Here it is.
I don't like this one.
Invader build cards affect matching lands without invaders if they are adjacent to at least 2 buildings.
They adjacency build!
And there it is. And there is the England thing.
People who have never played board games in their life have maybe actually heard of England's adjacency
The
build.
adjacency build.
They are famous for this, and it's their level freaking 1.
The one. It's hard.
Stupid adjacency build.
I'm sorry. I think it's more than 3 difficulty. This is difficult to stop.
Yeah, I'd say like 4.
Even if you're doing good on the board stage, there's probably 2 buildings touching
and it's
it.
not like it's a thing where it's like, oh, well, on the one board that has the most buildings, you do this, or something like that.
Or just
it's
coastal
conditionary.
lands.
Right, it's
like
just
Scotland.
Right. Oh, you can build in a land even if that land is empty so long as it's adjacent to 2 buildings.
Because
wow.
That's the thing you're trying to do in Spirit Island is empty lands, right?
Right.
This penalizes you for that.
This one is so hard to counter or thwart if you're not specifically using isolation. Because it's like, hey, if you have a blade of grass next to another blade of grass, they build.
Wait.
Dagnabbit. Oh, England is hard because it's simple and straightforward, but they're so freaking consistent.
Yeah, because they keep building. So there's only 2 spirits who are built with isolation powers.
Yeah.
And one of them is terrible against England because they want to group up.
Yeah,
It's Finder. They want to group up buildings.
Right, Finder ain't so hot, we'll get into this later, but Finder loves to congregate bad guys into one spot.
That's your loss condition, bucko.
France and England are like,
What's the magic word?
Can't do that, you'll kill yourself.
Yeah, level 1. So you're like, okay, so this is what England's about. You know right off the bat.
Moving on up to level 2, they increase in difficulty from 3 to 4. They get another fear card, so now we're at 11 fear cards, and it is 4-4-3, so it is in your early and mid game. Your end game will have not as much trouble with the fear cards, and they acquire the perk Criminals and Malcontents. That's a fun word, malcontent.
Malcontent.
That's just fun.
It sounds like an old English word.
Yeah, got a lot of consonants in there.
Yeah.
And anyway, it says, during setup on each board, add a city to land number 1 and a town to land number 2. The good news is that this is a setup thing.
We always love our
So
setups.
I don't have to worry about a whole lot from turn to turn. Bad news is
Another city!
So now it's really a difficulty to stop the adjacency builds because they're adding so many extra buildings.
your coast has 2 cities now.
Perfect.
And you have a town as well. Yay!
And then you have your starting town more inland, so your lands are probably being touched. Game
By
start.
a lot
by
of
buildings.
buildings.
Yep.
Remember how we were so mad that Scotland had another city on the coast? Well, England has another city on the coast, and they have a town on the coast.
England's the OG of actually adding extra buildings. Level 3 bumps us up to 6. So we jump 2 forward. 13 fear cards. 4, 5, 4.
Oh.
And here it is.
We got 2 fear cards.
2 extra ones. Adding 1 in the mid and then 1 in the late.
end.
Yeah, 1 in the end. High immigration. You'll remember this name. Put the high immigration tile on the invader board to the left of Ravage. The invaders take this build action each invader phase before ravaging. Cards slide left from Ravage to it and from it to the discard pile. Remove the tile when a stage 2 card slides onto it, putting that card in the discard.
The stupid build!
A stupid build!
The stupid build!
Copyrighted by Kindred Spirit Podcast.
Are you kidding me?
The high immigration tile. I remember when I first opened up the box to this game.
Kidding me?
I'm like, what's this? I'll never use it. Toss. When you open up the box, you're
Is
like,
it okay if I want to never use it?
I want to toss it.
They build before they ravage. Are you kidding me?
This hurts you in so many different ways.
That means they're like, oh, quick, let me grab a city real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Then attack you with it. Oh, and then really quick, let's build another town after I attack you.
This came up once in our game. I had to completely clear lands on my coast, and coastal lands were ravaging, but in the high immigration tile, mountains were building.
Yes.
So then the mountains build, I had a coastal mountain, and then a ravage, and I blighted. Because I'm a dummy. I'm like, the land's clear. Oh wait, they build first and then ravage.
So you do realize that you can have a perfectly clear land. And so long as that land is adjacent to 2 buildings, which is going to be really freaking easy.
It'll happen.
Because you start with a lot.
Hey, take my
you
word for
build.
it. It'll happen.
Now there's a town. Cool. Now they attack you. If you weren't covered because, hey, I thought that land was clear, I thought it was fine. It just blighted. Now they build again. There's a city. Oh. Stop! Stop! I'm not happy about this guy.
I'm not happy. Yeah, I feel like reading this is a trigger. Every level is just like I'm just getting triggered. Like, high immigration.
Thankfully, it goes away. So it's like, wow,
that was hard.
This thing sucks. Well, it goes away. Remember when Russia put bombs in the deck? Mm-hmm. And you're like, man, that was awful. Thankfully, it's not every single turn. I can see though why the difficulty spike of 2 from 11 to 13 was warranted.
You feel it.
You feel it. On to level 4, the difficulty goes up from 6 to 7. We gain another fear card from 13 to 14, and it's put on the end. It is 4/5/5. Wait, what? High immigration, the extra build tile stays the whole game? No!
Wait, you said it left. You lied to me. You lied. You just said 10 seconds ago and left the game.
Are you kidding me?
How dare you, Ryan?
No! It freaking stays! No!
You said to stay away!
I lied from the very beginning. Are you kidding me? That stupid tile stays!
The entire
Dang
game.
it!
You feel it every single time. You're
you know,
like,
it is very strange to realize that the bad guys are doing 4 actions against you. Now they're doing 2 builds. A ravage and an explore. So it goes build, ravage, build, explore for the whole game.
Ugh.
I hate it. But, ironically, you get into the rhythm of like, okay, next.
You do start to, find your rhythm, find your footing, and you're like, oh, I know they're going to build. I should defend here before they build and then ravage.
Right.
Yeah, you figure it out.
It was funny because...
It's not fun. I hate it.
Heck no.
But you adjust.
It feels like the hallway from any Legendary Encounters game because you're just like, how long is this hallway? As you like, all the cards are sliding
There's
down.
more aliens, don't worry.
Yeah,
they're still coming. It is weird because we did this in our game to defend an empty land, but knowing that they're gonna build.
I know. Yeah, you're never safe.
You're never safe.
Clear lands, they're like, oh, free real estate. Bink! And they just grab it.
Completely empty land. We would have to defend 3, defend 4 there.
Thankfully, though, this actually, like they said in the book, doesn't hit you in the early turns because it takes time for those cards to go down
Shuffle all the way
bad
down.
guy
That's true.
hallway of
Gives
doom.
you time to grow.
Yeah. So you actually will have 2 turns without having to worry about it. So
nice.
Quick! Do
Hurry.
your best to get established before it starts happening.
Don't have any misfooting. Level 5, we jump to 9 difficulty. Another 2. Remain at 14 fear cards. It's the same. 4/5/5.
Uh-oh. You know that when there's a difficulty spike of 2 and there is no change in the fear cards, that whatever it is gotta suck.
This, I don't know what's more legendary.
I
or
really don't
infamous.
know.
I don't know. I don't know if it's this one or if it's the adjacency builds.
I really don't know which perk is more infamous.
Local autonomy, it's called.
It is so simple.
Here it is. Towns and cities have +1 health.
Screw you! Frick off! Seriously? Come on! Towns have 3 health?
It's such a little thing, Ryan.
And cities have 4?
Just 1 extra health.
It changes so
everything.
much.
The landscape.
Everything.
Of the entire game.
It really does.
So many spirits have 2 damage powers.
Yes.
2 damage innates. So many spirits are built to take out a town here or there.
Yeah.
Now that 2 damage is worthless. Unless Badlands. But that's...
Yeah. Remember how fine steel for tools and guns increased the damage of Sweden's buildings?
Yes.
So it's like, crack! Now towns are acting like cities, and cities are acting like some
mega
awful
cities.
thing.
Yeah.
In the form of damage. Well,
But
here's
you can
the exact
still remove
opposite.
them easily in
Right,
Sweden.
you can still get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Here, thankfully, their damage remains the same. Yay!
That's good.
So, in that very specific way, defense should be at its normal value, right? Yeah, well, unfortunately, they spam so many buildings that defense
They're
is
so
kinda, like,
hard to get
washed
rid of.
out.
So now the loss
But
condition.
their health! Now towns are just as durable as normal cities.
So there's-
and cities are like these abominations that shouldn't exist.
There are some majors in the game that only do 3 damage. And when you read the major, you're like, oh, nice, 3 damage. I'll take out a city.
Right, how
Now
many
I'm
times
taking
have you
out-
seen something that's like, oh, 2 damage? Hello, Dahan counterattacks. 1 Dahan that counterattacks can't kill a town.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's huge.
You have to settle for explorers if 1 Dahan is counterattacking.
And who cares about explorers
That's
against
not a
England?
good trade.
That's terrible.
And you're not getting your fear.
So they're adjacency building. They have an extra build tile,
Mm-hmm.
and they have extra health, so they're harder to leave. Now this loss condition's starting to click, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the escalation they just build for no
They just
reason.
build. Hey, guess what? They're building like 3 times
Yes.
at the moment with their escalation.
So
because
some-
high immigration, that's 1 build action.
There it is.
The standard build action, that's 2. Escalation, that's a 3rd build action.
sometimes
Can you stop?
That loss condition might creep up on you in
Seriously?
1 turn. Like, whoa, 3 buildings in 1 turn?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Right.
Yeah, just wait.
At level 6,
Bring
we
us home,
get to
Ryan.
their difficulty 10.
Bring us home.
Wait, what the? They go down in fear cards.
Oh,
they
that's
go
nice.
back down to 13.
Hey, nice!
Man.
We're coming together.
We're back to 454.
What a bunch of chumps.
Last time was 454 is level 3.
Easy. GG, game over.
Uh,
What's wrong? You okay, buddy?
we got a problem.
Buddy,
you know that if they remove fear cards for the last one, that their last perk is gonna suck.
Oh, Eric Royce, you're so evil.
You evil man.
Read it.
Independent resolve. Dang, setup. Yay. Add an additional fear to the fear pool per player in the game.
What?
Are you serious?
What?
Remember how it was 4 fear per player?
Yeah, it's always been that way since forever and ever.
Yeah, now it's 5.
No!
5! However, during any invader phase where you resolve no fear cards, perform the build from high immigration twice! Now it's 4!
I feel like I'm just laughing and singing.
I know, just laughs and
Laughing
cheers.
cheers.
Freaking 4! You can easily have 4, if you're not careful, builds in one turn. High immigration went twice. The standard build went for your 3rd, and the escalation was your 4th. They are building so much. And
that escalation's hitting the most built up land.
Yes.
So if you keep building in that land, they just keep hitting you.
not to mention that the adjacency build keeps happening at level 1.
Level 1.
Which is just ridiculous. Oh, it says this effect has no effect if no cards in the extra build slot. So it's like, hey, 2 times 0 is still 0.
That is true.
Should that ever happen? But, you know, it's like that one thing where it's like, here's something that's ridiculously hard to do, and it's like almost impossible, but every now and then, you might get a break.
Well,
Yay!
for the first couple turns, if
Right.
there's no card there and it's not shifted down yet, it does give you a little
Yep.
reprieve.
It's like when you go bowling and you hit every single pin except for the very back left one and the very back right. So you gotta split. Technically, you can actually hit both, but it's so freaking hard, and it's definitely uncommon. Oh, they have earned their difficulty too.
I think they are
Good
the most
night.
infamous adversary.
Easily, but it's all simple stuff.
It's all so
It's
easy.
not some sensational, whoa, what? This crazy, unique, crazy, intricate, manipulative, cockamamie
If blights in the
thing,
land, then their
and
health goes
this,
down.
and
If
that.
the blights in the
Yeah.
ocean, if
Right.
they get spit back
No,
out.
just if they got 7 buildings, you lose.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, okay.
But they build. Okay. And they build again.
Oh.
Oh, okay. And here they build again.
Oh.
And
Oh,
they're
they start with extra buildings, too.
okay.
Nice.
And their buildings don't really go away.
Oh, extra health. Well, I'll just go for fear then and do
Okay.
a fear victory.
Dagnabbit. So here's what's really interesting about England that I found. You have to rely on so many things to take them down, which is unfair because they only have to really focus on one thing. Maybe they focus on like 2 things. That's about it.
I like control, Ryan. It's one of my favorite ways to play this
Right.
game.
But
Let's do that. Oh.
Nope, Proud of Mighty Capital. Can't
Okay.
do that. Great. All right, well, thankfully they don't have any bonus damage. So, even though they have bonus health on their buildings, Oh, wait. Offense kind of takes a really big hit there.
Huge hit.
Huge hit there. Crap. I was going to attack all those people, but, well.
Even defense, when there's 4 or 5 buildings on land, try defending that.
Right.
They're not doing extra damage, but there's so many of them.
That ain't so good, but defense is still good, right? Because they don't have any bonus damage, like Sweden. Yeah, well, there's just so freaking many of them.
Yeah, there's 4 cities in that jungle. Try defending that.
Along with his 3 town buddies. And you know what? There's 2 or 3 explorers along for the ride.
What the heck? Why not? Yeah. All right, I'll bring fear. I'll bring bringer.
Right on. Yeah, when in doubt, fear. Okay.
Bring fear. Fear victory.
5 per player.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Utility?
Hey!
Fractured like, I do things.
Remember how we talked about how Scotland was very well-rounded?
Yes.
I feel as if England isn't as well-rounded, but still pretty round.
Yeah.
Like, they cover a lot of things. They cover the control. They cover the fear. They cover the offense and the fact that they hurt your offense because they have bonus health.
Yeah.
And defense, they also really hurt because they just have so many people that's just so
How do
hard.
you defend against all of it?
Right. It's like the Hoover Dam is breaking and you have Scotch tape. Like,
yeah.
Uh-oh.
I need actual cement and concrete.
One thing I
and
noticed
iron.
in our game, blight isn't as bad with them because just one blight goes through, and it's not the similar as France where blight goes back to the invader card, and then you have to.
It honestly feels so strange to have nothing blight related with an adversary.
Blight.
There's nothing crazy
No,
like oh no, they
Habsburg,
blighted. What happened?
Sweden.
Habsburg. Oh, their towns are different based on whether or not there is or isn't blight. Oh, Sweden, they have double blight over here and whatnot, but it doesn't cascade if it goes there. Scotland. Oh, we have blight stuff too, but it goes into the ocean, and we do it if it's on coastal land.
France, it doesn't go back to the
slow
blight
healing
card.
ecosystem. It doesn't go back to the card, so there's all these things to remember with blight, and then England's like,
yeah, you blight.
You know, we'll be nice to you there. We won't give you a whole lot to remember from turn to turn, honestly.
That's true.
And with the blight, like we've said, because it's like, okay, so they build a lot, they have extra health.
Extra fear, extra
and
buildings.
That's about it.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot to remember. That's nice. But just with the blight thing, it's like, yeah, if they blight, they blight. Nothing special with blight.
No.
Nothing different than the standard rules. Oh. Well, that's nice.
So we kind of did focus on blight, and it saved us the game. Like healing blight.
So,
should we get into that game?
Let's get into our final championship finale game.
So, peek behind the curtain. It was an over 3-hour long game. A 2-player game. It was over 3 hours long.
What, 3 hours, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a marathon.
It is a slog.
Even more than Scotland, I think.
Ugh.
Oh, they don't manipulate the invader deck at all.
No.
It's the same as the standard.
It is not curated anyway.
Not at all.
Standard invader
That's
deck.
also weird.
Odd.
Yeah.
It was weird. After playing all these expansion and DLC.
Russia putting him in the fear deck or something. Sweden
it felt
taking him
so
out.
strange to fight something so simple, and yet it was so difficult at the same time.
So hard.
So, our game against England. It was a 2-player game with John and myself. I played as Might Earth.
Wow. Sorry, I'm floored.
Right? Uh-huh.
I played as Immense Lightning.
Yeah. This is actually very poetic, these choices.
Tell them why it's full circle.
This is really full circle because England obviously has been regarded as the hardest adversary in the game for years, ever since 2017.
Yes.
Of course, that is a subjective statement, but they defined a meta for so long. Even still, you see remnants of the consequences of their dominance on the meta.
Good descriptor.
And for so long,
They're
they
also
were
the
just
most talked about.
Oh,
adversary.
Easily.
Most discussed.
Right. But they were the OG titan of awful. They were the one where it's like, okay, game is like this and the game is like that. Okay, that strategy works for, medium or standard difficulty stuff, but until you get to England, then you're going to have to do this. Or, oh, you can do that. No, it's fine. But when you go up against England, you can't do it anymore. Like, the measure of difficulty was fighting England.
Because Brandenburg Prussia, yeah, that's difficulty 10. That should be the same as England.
But there wasn't a miasma of dread around Brandenburg like there was England.
No, there wasn't.
So...
And people, like I said earlier, were graded based on how they did against England.
Yeah.
Which isn't fair.
Right.
I don't like that. Anyway, sorry.
That's just the ridiculousness of England.
Yeah.
Anyway, Earth and Lightning were the very first 2 spirits I ever played with. In my very first game of Spirit Island ever, as some of you will remember, it was a 2-spirit game with Earth and Lightning. So this is kind of full circle. Why? Because
I remember you said yourself you wanted someone defensive and offensive. You thought that was a good combo.
Just simple meat and potatoes.
Right.
I'm sure I can get a metaphorical plate with a lot more combined flavors and spices and whatnot, but I just wanted to start with something hearty, simple, and easy to understand.
Something starchy.
That's right. That's right. Something honest, something rugged, something good and solid, you know. But the thing was, these spirits, Earth and Lightning, were in the base game, obviously, but they were low complexity peeps, beginner spirits.
Yeah. The first ones I played.
OG4 are River, Lightning, Earth, and Shadows. So this was like the OG team for me fighting the hardest of the OG bad guys.
Yeah.
And it was a full circle because now England is the finale of our adversary series.
Everyone at home, this isn't Ryan's last game.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, where's this going?
No, of our
so anyway,
adversary
I'm
series.
retiring from Spirit Island.
No!
Just kidding.
We're not retiring.
No.
You don't want me editing these.
So what I'm talking about here is that was like the first thing that opened the door to Spirit Island. And as this door is closing on the adversary series, with England being the hardest adversary, as it's been regarded by so many people, it feels so poetic to close that door with the spirits I played with for my very first time.
And we talked leading up to this. I know we always say this, but we had in-depth discussions about who we're going to play as.
Who we're going to play as. We do not look at any of the feedback before we pick our peeps. We pick our peeps, and then after it's recorded or after the game is played, we check out the numbers and the results in the comments.
Half the time, people are still voting anyway.
Yep. Most of the time, we get our game in for the adversaries. As it has worked out, it's usually been where the data is still coming in by the time we play our game. Albeit these spirits had a little shot in the arm.
Yeah, the aspects help for these spirits.
Because immense changes lightning into such a heavy-hitting damager.
Such a different spirit.
And might just catapults Earth into just... wonderful levels of awesomeness.
Yes.
Yet, neither of these spirits are considered the best, according to your thoughts, or from other people, to be the absolute single best counters to England.
But
I wanted...
No one talks about.
No one talks about Earth.
Even Might, which is such a good aspect for Earth.
Oh my gosh. We'll get into that in a little bit.
We will.
But we freaking won!
We did
it! The Union Jack will not fly here. That's right. Get lost. And we beat them on 4th of July weekend, baby.
Can you see by the dawn's light?
Oh, that felt great. Yes. It was July 5th that we took them down.
It was fitting.
That actually was legit coincidence, but...
And there were fireworks that night.
There were
still fireworks going.
I
was still shooting off fireworks.
We had a fear victory.
Woof.
On the final turn.
The card was flipped.
Close.
We had none left.
It was so freaking close.
We had no invader cards left.
Oh my gosh.
It was empty. It was empty, Ryan.
Oh my gosh.
The last card was flipped.
All right. I have a very simple statement to make.
Okay.
But do not mistake its simplicity for its gravity.
I'm listening.
You know me, and as a result of knowing the person I am, what I do, how much games I play, and with how much of this game I play, you can understand, maybe even more than some of the listeners, how big of a deal this next statement is. Not only was this the hardest game of Spirit Island I have ever had, this was the hardest cooperative board game I have ever played.
Wow.
This was ridiculous.
Yo, that's a huge statement.
This was ridiculous.
This is nothing...
And I've played England before.
This is no little feat. You've played many a games in your lifetime.
Hardest Spirit Island game I have ever played.
What about that one, the Forbidden Island game we played? And I was on the sand. And I just couldn't get my...
And Laura was a camel because she was giving everyone water.
Right.
Yeah, no.
The sun was beating down. That was a tough one. No.
This was easily the hardest. Oh my gosh. And I've had other games that were hard, but other games, to Spirit Island's credit, other games can be very hard, but the difficulty is detached from player choice.
Yes.
Because it's just like, oh, here's this random thing that you totally couldn't have done. But wait, I hear you say, isn't Spirit Island kind of random? Because you don't know what the invader deck's going to be, and you don't know what fear cards or event cards are going to happen. Yes, we had events. But
go listen to our fear episode about knowing the statistics.
But knowing the statistics and knowing what can happen gives us a little bit more agency. There are some games where it's like complete random.
Ryan, we had some fear trust falls big time. Like jumping off a skyscraper. It was like, I hope someone catches me. We got 2 lined up. Hopefully something happens.
Oh, we were convinced of defeat on like turn 2, turn 3.
I think it was...
Convinced doesn't even cut it.
No, it was turn 3, and we're already planning our second game.
So much so, we were actually strategizing things for game 2.
I was like,
all right, so
maybe I won't play immense this time.
Maybe wildfire. Yeah. Okay, so we got to take note.
Bring in lore for ocean.
Yeah, we were planning and making
audible plans. No, listen, we're not kidding. We were saying, okay, so this one's a loss. Let's just get over this turn.
There was no notion in my head that we were going to win. There was so much plastic. Oh my word.
Turn 3.
And it's like, oh, here's a town. Oh, here's a city.
What?
Here's another town. Here's
another again?
I can't keep up with this. I can't. I have Dahan that I can attack with.
Perfect stillness?
Yay! Oh, man. This is kind of funny because I have to check my own self at the gate here because even I have said in the past to other people, you know...
Even on this podcast.
Yes. Sometimes you can be losing a game and it's important to know the difference between a winnable game that looks bad right now versus a actual, I'm screwed.
We're going to lose.
We're going to lose. Yeah, even I thought that we were dead.
So, honestly,
I was like,
think
no
this game was one of those...
No freaking way.
We had to lose. How did we win?
Dude, the thing that was hilarious was when we were playing in your basement, we were right across the room from that one bay window where the light comes in.
The light comes in.
And so the point of that statement is that the sun in real life was coming from across the room. I had a skyline shadow.
Literally.
A shadow of a skyline.
It looked like New York City.
I know. I looked at John. I was like, welcome to New York.
It did.
I was like, John, why do I see a shadow of a skyline on Earth's board right now?
There was one explorer, I think, there too.
Oh my word. There were so many buildings that there was actually shadows of them. Real life shadows
Were they
on my
flickering
board.
like flame?
No. There was so many freaking buildings. Oh my gosh. But
I want to talk about the first turn.
I think we started on the right foot.
I think we started on the right foot.
Seriously.
You were on board E, I was on board C. And we had them aligned in a certain way. Listener, you can map this out where there were 2 wetlands touching each other. It was like the lung.
I was about to say, I think it's the lungs I've heard people call it.
The lungs. Yeah. They weren't completely perpendicular or whatever.
Yep.
They were kind of
They're both widthwise.
Yes, exactly. So we had 2 wetlands, and they explored first to the wetlands. So we had 2 explorers. What was nice, all our wetlands had no buildings. If you look at boards E and C, none of them started with a building. They just had explorers. So what we did was you grew kind of between my board and your board where you'd be touching both of those wetlands. I gave you Lightning's Boon. Yes. And then you played Draw the Fruitful Earth and gather 2 explorers. They weren't touching 2 buildings. We stopped a build against England. Screw you, England!
On the first turn, Lightning's Boon and Draw the Fruitful Earth. I thought that was actually really good. It was huge.
It's a little thing. It didn't seem like a lot then. But I think that little domino...
It bought us some additional time in the early game. Yep. Which was incredibly useful. Like we said, England doesn't come out of the gate too fast. No. So to stall them even further was just very helpful. In my opinion, anyway. I thought that was great. So that was pretty clutch. But, oh my goodness. Still, we quickly saw on turn 2 and 3... Oh no.
They kept building.
Just building and building. And building and building and building. I was like, oh no.
And one thing with Lightning as immense, it is more difficult to trigger Thundering Destruction because I'm more limited in card plays.
Yeah.
So I understand with base Lightning, you can take out buildings and eventually cities. Even though I was at 4 card plays, that got cut in half. So I was at 2 card plays.
Right.
So it took a little bit of time. So things were building up. I wasn't destroying. Earth is notably a slow grower.
Right.
So you were taking some time as well.
Right.
It did feel like we were getting overrun turn 3.
It really did. And even with Might Earth and the fantastic upgrade to the Draw the Fruitful Earth and Rituals of Destruction combo where it actually goes to 7 damage and you get 2 fear for it.
Yes.
Which is phenomenal. I'm like, uh-oh. Right off the bat, I was really concerned about Might Earth's capabilities because I'm like, well, I can get the bonus damage. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Turn 2. Okay, I'm really concerned it's not going to be enough.
It was one of those things where the sentimentality of Earth and Lightning was kind of wearing off.
Yeah.
We're like, this was, full circle.
We had that first wave of doubt pretty quick.
And, yeah.
Maybe we should have done Ocean Thunder Speaker.
OP broken.
Oh my goodness.
Here's one thing that was super lucky for me early. With Immense Lightning, you want to go majors.
Yeah.
Because I can afford it. My energy track is literally doubled, so I can afford those majors. So my first major I got was Power Storm, which we'll talk about. But I had a Forgetter card, right?
Yeah.
So I forgot Raging Storm. Hate that card. Right, so my first forgettable card.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got an event called Fortune Seekers. I won't go through the entire card, but there is a Dahan event portion at the end, where if you have so many Dahan in your land, you can either reclaim a card or you can regain a Forgotten Power. So I didn't need to reclaim a card, so I said, oh, what the heck, I'll just, regain Raging Storm.
Which is saying a lot, because John hates that card. He even had it set aside. I was like, all right, John.
That was funny. Yeah,
that was
say that.
hilarious. Because I was looking at your starting hand. I was like, can we have 3 cards? And he's like, yeah, I already put it off to the side.
I already put it off to the side.
I already put it off to the side. He's already dialed in to get rid of it.
Game.
It was hilarious. Like, are you kidding? You already had it ready to go.
But I had just reclaimed to gain Power Storm, because the only way to gain power cards with Lightning, you have to reclaim.
Right.
So I had no cards to reclaim. So I had all my cards in my hand. So Fortune Seekers says you can just regain a Forgotten Power. I said, what the heck? I'll bring it back.
Sure, why not?
So my next card I got.
Turns out it was one of the best decisions you could have made.
Do you think that's the luckiest things I've ever done?
It was, honestly may have been.
In this game?
We had some luck. Throughout the various cards that we found or things that got played.
The listener must be so confused. Why are they going off about Raging Storm? Who cares about that card, especially against England?
Just wait.
Just wait. Anyway, that's my little teaser.
So, oh my goodness. We had so many fantastic, notable cards in this game. Usually...
You finally got luck. There's been so many games we've had.
I am so tired of having bad luck with cards.
I guess I'll just play Miss Starting Hand this game.
Which is a good hand.
Which is a good hand.
But it felt so great. What's funny is that we usually go over the notable cards that we had that were amazing for our victories against max-level adversaries. The list of notable cards this game is so extensive because there were so many that just carried in so many ways. Honestly, Earth's Starting Hand was clutch.
Huge.
It was ridiculous how effective my starting hand was. Guard the Healing Land was clutch.
Remember we talked about how they don't really do much with Blight England.
Right.
So getting that Blight back on the card is so pivotal. And not having any targeting restrictions. I know it's expensive.
Oh, we blighted a few times.
Oh, but you don't have to have 2 Blight in the land to remove it. Or it doesn't have to be a wetland.
Honestly,
there's no
I
targeting
used
restrictions.
Guard the Healing Land this game more for Blight removal than defense.
We needed to.
Defense, I was able to use here and there. Sure. That's no lie.
Spot defense.
But defense ain't so great against England. And I can't stack it with my Sacred Site Defend 3 because I'm not playing base Earth.
Right.
But like you said, there's no restrictions on this one. My favorite Blight removal card in the game. But it's fast.
And it's fast.
It's fast.
So it doesn't cascade if there's a Blight already there and they're about to ravage. And it can go on heavy land. I know people say it's 3 energy.
But you can afford it.
Earth can afford it.
And you can even copy it twice.
If it was any other spirit, yes, that would be expensive. Earth can afford it.
It was fantastic.
Such a good card.
Honestly, the real MVP, Year of Perfect Stillness.
Yes, thank you for that card.
Oh my word. And this is so funny because I usually advise people to not rely on that card. And I'm not going to say
You've told our listeners not to spam that card.
And I didn't rely on it, but we sure as heck used it.
But to use it when it saved us the game.
It literally saved us the game.
Many turns.
Oh my goodness. Year of Perfect Stillness on standard difficulties does a lot of really good work, but its value increases significantly on the higher difficulties like England 6 because they have the capacity to do 8 actions on you because they have 4 actions and in stage 3 they're going in 2 lands, so it's like, oh, they're building in 2 lands, now they're ravaging in 2 lands, now they're building in 2 lands, now they're exploring in 2 lands. Yes, I know there will be some overlap, but you get what I'm saying. There was a lot of action!
There was a circumstance where we had stage 2 wetland, then we had the coastal land, then we had stage 3 wetland jungle, and then we had another wetland sands or something.
Yeah.
We had 4 wetlands.
Yeah.
So when you stopped an action and in Pure Perfect Stillness, you stopped all the wetlands. No Ravage, no 2 builds, no Explore.
Right. Seriously, Year of Perfect Stillness was stopping like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actions sometimes.
I remember we had 4 wetlands lined up.
It stops everything.
Stops everything.
Stops everything. And on standard difficulty, you know, it's funny because you'll play it and you're like, wow, 3 energy to just stop an Explore? You know, that's actually not the worst. Stop a Ravage, maybe. Stop a build. Sure. Usually stop Ravages. But still, 1 action, you know, not bad. Yeah. You know, that was really nice.
Cool.
Here, though, when you are literally stopping 5 actions, 7 actions, you're like, oh! You're throwing up with how amazing it is because you're just like, I need this so bad. Now, of course, the thing about stalling is that the more you stall, the more you need to, so you still need to act. But, oh my goodness, I spammed every now and then Year of Perfect Stillness with Guard the Healing Land to stop so many bad guy actions.
So you wouldn't do that throughout the entire game, but when we were about to lose from Proud and Mighty Capital or from Blight,
look, Power Storm was a crutch to victory again.
It's almost like Power Storm is an exceedingly good card.
Yes, and it's been around forever.
Since the base.
But yes, I, with Gift of Strength, can copy Year of Perfect Stillness. But you're like, hey, do you want to go ahead and Power Storm that sucker and do it some more? Yeah, I was pretty much spending every energy I had.
Yeah.
Regardless of it was my amazing energy that I had by myself, or if it was energy that you gave me with other cards. Every now and then, we needed a Perfect Stillness spam because it was just overlapping on so many things, and it sucked.
Or I needed to reload and reclaim. Or, you know, there were things that were happening like, Ryan, we need a downturn. Can you just stop everything for a second?
Oh, and you would. But since I was able to do that, it was able to just...
It's a breath. Call me up for air. That's what it was.
I feel like I'm drowning in white plastic here. And that's like my buoy that saves me from certain death. Oh my goodness.
We only had to do the high immigration tile twice, one time. We were getting slow off the
Which is incredible.
Which is like non-fear spirits.
And the reason how I think that was able to happen was because of still the Draw of the Fruitful Earth combo with Rituals of Destruction. Usually, with Might Earth, you can do Draw the Fruitful Earth twice, Vacuum Suck 2 Explorers and 2 Dahan, then repeat it. So 2 more Explorers, 2 more Dahan. Now you have 3 plus Dahan in a land. Rituals of Destruction goes in there. Rituals of Destruction does 2 damage, but if you have at least 3 or more Dahan in there, you get bonus of 3 damage and you get 2 fears. So it's like, sweet. But with Might Earth, you also get plus 2 bonus damage, so that goes from 2 damage to 5 to 7.
Wow.
And it's amazing. Now, unfortunately, the thing with England is that this combo doesn't really work as well because the thing that's so great about the Fruitful Earth Rituals of Destruction combo is the fact that when you pull in Explorers, those Explorers that you vacuum in aren't building in the lands that they were in. So it's like, yay, I pull in Explorers so they don't build. Yeah, England doesn't really give a crap.
Adjacency build, yeah.
Adjacency build. So killing Explorers is kind of like pretty worthless. But what was nice was that even though I wasn't able to prevent builds via Explorer control like it usually does.
No one prevents builds unless you have isolation.
Right, because of England's adjacency build. It was good for the 5 fear that it gave consistently.
How'd you get 5 fear, Ryan?
Which was great. In the way I just described, if you do all those things, you get a bonus of 2 fear. But since I'm doing 7 damage, I was always going Town City, Town City, Town City, Town City.
4 for the city, 3 for the town.
Oh, that sucked so bad. Usually, you can get like 2 towns and a city.
7 damage is like a major
Or
power.
you can get 1 town, a city, and some explorers
some stragglers,
for change.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can get 2 cities or something like that. Yeah, here, just Town City, Town City, Town City.
We needed those buildings off the board.
That's not enough.
We lose if we don't have those buildings.
Yeah, so it's like, here's a land that has 4 or 5 buildings in it. I can get rid of 2 of them. And none of the explorers.
It helps.
Really? That's it? But don't worry, it seriously was helpful. And since Earth has such a great reclaim cycle, I was able to do this pretty consistently.
Yeah.
But seriously, getting 5 fear? Not bad.
Not bad.
As Earth?
Because we had 5 fear per spirit to earn.
Yeah.
But that kind of changed later on.
Honestly, Rituals of Destruction was my go-to attack card.
Yeah.
Because it has to be. It has to be. It's the only one. Doing 7 damage and 5 fear normally should be ignored. Here, honestly, it didn't look as good as it usually does.
But with your reclaim loop, it's not even really a loop because you were still growing. So it doesn't really negate you that much.
Right. But it wasn't all so bad for Team Good Guy, though, because my very first pull was a minor power card called Thriving Choke Fungus. It's one of the new ones from Jagged Earth, and it is amazing!
Especially against England.
Oh, my word, is phenomenal. Thankfully, it gave me a plant element that I need, but it requires a sacred site, and it can only go in jungles or wetlands. So I think Earth is a very fine user of this card. I do think Downpour could use it better, because Downpour can easily make sacred sites, and is going to have sacred sites all the time, and since it can only go in a jungle or wetland, you can make wetlands with Downpour. I think
what are those sacred sites doing? Oh yeah, they're making wetlands.
Anyway, this is not about Downpour, this is about Earth. I still think Earth can make great use of this.
Definitely.
But add 1 disease and 1 Badlands.
Huge.
Badlands.
Stopping builds, extra damage.
England. Yep. Disease against England. Oh my goodness. I was very happy to get this one early because this allowed me to get just more bonus damage. And you need bonus damage.
So that 7 damage is now starting to stack even more.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can become 8. It can become 9. Something like that.
From a minor power.
Right.
Making good use out of minors.
Earth's bonus damage that happens on all of their powers. The next one I got was Territorial Strife. Another one from Jagged Earth. This one was phenomenal. As far as the elements that it gave me that I wanted, it only gave me sun. It also gives you animal and fire, but I don't really use those. So it's a slow power, but it's free, which is nice. Very nice that it's free, because I was gassing myself pretty much the whole time. More on that later. In a land that has a city in it, either...
Isn't that funny?
Right. Add a strife. Honestly, not bad. Cool. Or do 3 damage. That's actually really good. For 0 energy, 3 damage?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it can only be done to towns or explorers.
A little less good. Now I see why it's a 0 costing card.
However, one thing that's nice though is that since it has to go in a city and the damage is being dealt to towns or explorers, it's like you're pitting the city slickers against the rural farmers or something. Like the more homesteaders, the towns, the farmers.
And the art kind of reflects that.
Yeah,
it's cool. I like the artwork.
So in a land that has a city, England has cities all over the place. 3 damage to towns or explorers. But since I get +2 on all my stuff, that's actually 5 damage to towns and explorers.
And if there's a bad land there, now we're up talking 6, 7, who knows?
There was one time where I had played Thriving Choke Fungus and I copied it because of Gift of Strength. So I played it twice, got 2 disease and 2 badlands, and then I did a massive attack. We're going to get into when we did this attack later. And this card, Territorial Strife, was phenomenal because a 0 costing card then did 7 damage.
That's a major.
In a spot.
For free.
Because
For free.
For free! It's 3 damage. +2 because of Might Earth, now it's 4-5, and then +2 because of 2 Badlands, 6-7. So that is for free 7 damage that can only be done to towns or explorers.
But you took out 2 towns and an explorer.
Seriously?
That's huge.
Now, unfortunately,
Against
England soaks up that damage, but this is a free card.
For free, you took 2 of their buildings away.
Really good for a
Saving
minor.
us. For a minor.
For a minor power,
Huge.
it was great. I did find Indomitable Claim. I think this is one of Earth's ultimates, honestly, because it gives you a sun and it gives you an Earth.
Good
and
elements.
That's what Earth needs. Add 1 presence in target land, even if you normally could not due to land type. There's a lot of cheese you can do with that card, and we'll get into that in the future, I'm sure. Oh, and then defend 20.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, then if you hit the threshold of 2 sun and 3 earth, 3 fear, if invaders are present. Invaders skip all actions in target land this turn. Yeah, skipping actions is great.
Especially against England.
And you know me, I love getting presents out there.
You do. Hot take. Sometimes I don't like triggering that threshold because when I'm defending 20, I want people to fight.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't always want to trigger that threshold.
I feel it. Hey,
but against England, you certainly do.
You certainly do. And, you know, you can choose not to.
Oh, yeah, you can play different cards or something.
Yeah. But I mean, you can choose not to do a threshold even if you have
yeah.
The same way that innate powers, you can be like, I could, but I choose not to. Anyway, so that one was really nice. I only actually ever used it once because we had to transition into damage and fear pretty quick.
But it was good for you to grow. It basically moves you up a turn.
Right. I think, honestly, of the cards that I found, these last 2 were probably the most important. Spur on with Words of Fire. Oh my goodness.
What's funny is this card really wasn't good for you as so much as it was for me.
It souped up my buddy, Immense Lightning. I think Immense Lightning loves having this played on them.
Yes.
Because Spur On with Words of Fire, first off, gives me a sun and a much-needed air.
What?
Wait, what? More on that later.
Oh.
This is a power that you can target any spirit.
Cool.
If you target a spirit other than yourself, they gain an energy.
I always like energy. That's cool.
Target spirit may immediately play another card by paying its cost. At first, you may be thinking, why the heck would I ever want to use it on myself so I can get another card play when I just spent a card play on this one? Well, it's just because it gives you the elements.
Yeah.
You get the sun, the air, and the fire, which is nice. By giving it to a friend, you can give them one energy and give them another card play.
Because with immense, my card plays get cut in half.
Yeah.
So when I have 4 card plays, that really means I only have 2.
Right.
So I'm playing 2 cards, it's hard to trigger things.
And more energy is never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. So if Ryan's letting me play 4 cards for immense lightning and I can sling majors because I have the energy,
huge.
Game changing.
Huge. And with the majors that he was slinging around that you'll hear about in a second, it was
worth
clutch.
It was a huge card for me. Thank you for always playing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for reclaiming, because this was one of those crack, I need another hit type cards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, do you have Spur this turn? Do you have Spur? I need it. I was that little nudge of like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
You got the goods?
It became the new Lightning's Boom.
It was.
Or the Gift of Proliferation. Or Gift of Abundance.
Do you have that this turn? I was like, I'll reclaim and grow, I guess.
Right. At the end of the game, things were looking dire and we didn't have a whole lot of time left.
No.
We'll explain why the situation was getting even more dire because, yes, in more ways than you might initially think, it was getting pretty nasty and pretty close to the wire. And then on the third to last turn, I pulled Paralyzing Fright. Oh my word. Paralyzing Fright is probably one of the best closers in the game.
Bring in the
I don't care what game you're playing, who you're playing as, or who you're playing against. If somebody gets Paralyzing Fright, or maybe Terrifying Nightmares, but Paralyzing Fright.
Let's go back to Paralyzing Fright.
It's,
with
there is
threshold?
a very specific emotion of safety that whelms your head and your heart and your mind and your brain when you see that card.
And it's a terrifying card, at least the art. It's scary.
Paralyzing Fright. You know it well, and if you don't, I'll tell you. It's a fast power, costs 4 energy. Actually, it's pretty decently expensive. Unfortunately for me, that means I have to trigger Gift of Strength at level 3 in order to copy this one. Gives you 2 elements. Air. Hey, wait a minute.
Spur's looking better now.
Oh, that's why Spur was really good, because Spur gave me an air. But Paralyzing Fright gives you an air and an earth. Range 1 of a Sacred Site, which I definitely have. For Fear, invaders skip all actions and target land this turn.
All of them?
Oh, it's like
all
having,
the builds?
Honestly,
all the escalations?
It's a souped up Year of Perfect Stillness, because it still does the same thing, but it gives you 4 fear, and we needed that. But if you hit the threshold of 2 air, which is really easy once you realize that this one gives you an air, so you really only need to find 1 air.
You do need 2 more earth elements, Ryan. Does Vital Strength have that?
Yeah, earth has earth elements in spades.
Okay.
You're fine.
All right.
And if you do have the threshold, it's quite simple. Instead of doing 4 fear and skip all actions, it's 8 fear and skip all actions. 8 fear!
What?
In a solo game, that is 2 fear cards, and a 2-player game, that is a fear card right there, and in any other player game, it's just a big freaking chunk that you desperately needed.
Hey, would you like to play that again with Power Storm?
Yeah! So, we were able to use Paralyzing Fright. That is what legitimately secured the mad dash at the end for that fear victory. It really did secure it for us. Now, thankfully, we actually did really good on the fear gain this turn.
Surprisingly.
We did good.
Who would have thought?
Earth was doing like 5 on average a turn, and you went ham.
What?
Let's talk about Immense Lightning.
All right.
So, oh my word, Immense Lightning was on fire.
When we last were with Lightning, I had reclaimed or unforgotten, whatever the wording is, Raging Storm. Cool, who cares?
Right.
The next time I reclaim, because you know, I played a couple turns, what have you. Things are looking dire. We're already planning out next game. We're like basically starting to reshuffle the minor power deck. I go for another major Hail Mary, and I pull
Vanish softly away, forgotten by all.
So you're thinking to yourself, when you first look at that card...
The card we keep referencing in all of our jokes, whether it be the Fear episode or the event debate.
Or it's a good Mist card.
Oh my goodness. It's like Mist's Ultimate, one of theirs.
So it's a major, only costing 3. You get a moon and an air. It is a slow power, but with lightning. Everything's fast.
What?
You have two options. Remove one invader and one explorer, one town. Pretty good.
Not bad.
Pretty good. You can remove three things. One invader usually means a city, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's an or.
Oh, man.
Remove all damaged invaders.
Oh, I like where this is going.
I like where this is
So, wait a
going.
minute, I still have Raging Storm where I can do 1 damage to everyone? So I could damage one time 5 buildings? And then play Vanish Softly?
Yeah.
And then 5 buildings are gone?
Bam!
Wow.
This was clutch!
Pretty game saving.
Raging Storm and Vanish Softly. Oh my goodness.
Clearing lands.
At its base, it's the same reason why Mist grabbing that card is so good.
Oh, sure.
Do 1 damage to each invader, remove all damaged invaders. Bam, all gone. Now, it's true that you don't get any fear for it, or anything like that.
So that was tough.
But I am okay. I am totally okay with that.
Yeah.
It is totally fine. Because the ratio of bad guy to good guy is so ridiculously tipped in bad guy's favor.
With England.
That just, bam, getting rid of 5 cities and...
Sure. How many explorers?
Right.
If it's 1 damage because of Raging Storm.
Seriously, like 4 towns and a city, a bunch of explorers. 3 towns and 2 cities and some explorers. Just bam, completely clear. But how about that threshold though?
So I was able to unlock the threshold because with Immense you are able to, when you play a major power, you can gain 2 different elements. So I would gain the elements I need for these thresholds with 3 moon and 3 air and any 2 lands with 4 or more invaders. Against England, pick one.
Yeah, we were just removing all the time.
Remove 1 additional
my
invader.
gosh.
So in 2 different lands, remove more cities, more towns. So we're just getting things off the board. Yes, I know, no fear. Ryan said that, no fear.
Right. But honestly, we were doing so good with fear.
You were earning a lot of fear.
Yeah,
I
like
was
consistently.
Still picking things off, Shattered Homestead.
I did not mind.
Yeah.
Removing was just phenomenal because we just needed them off the board.
Because of that loss condition. I think we got to 5. Was that the highest we got with the loss condition?
With Proud and Mighty Capital, it only ever got to 5.
You were picking off buildings, 2 here or there. I was Shattering Homesteads, but the Vanish Softly Raging Storm combo.
Oh
wiping
my
lands.
gosh.
Wiping lands.
Seriously.
I couldn't do it every turn because that's 6 energy.
Yeah.
2,
No,
3.
it's expensive.
So I saved up for it, but those turns, like you say,
Were
for like
huge.
for perfect stillness, we had to
Were
plan this out. We
huge.
had to just push them back down. You're like, get back in the can.
Right. And every now and then we would go and quickly control as best we could bad guys into problem lands on purpose because we knew that we were about to do
the Vanish
that combo.
and Raging Storm combo.
Yep. So that was absolutely phenomenal.
That's why
and
I think
it
I
just
was
punched punched holes in their foolproof plan of winning against the spirits.
Because how do you take out 3 cities and 2 towns in 1 land?
Seriously, quickly,
without a Thunder Speaker or without Cast Down in the Briny Deep or huge hitting majors. What if you're not pulling those?
Or
how
there's
do you
no
do it?
ocean here to shove
There's
them into
no
the
ocean.
drink.
How do you get rid of 4 cities in 1 land?
You could use a Snakequake right now.
Sure.
I could use a maxed out Firestorm right now. But we don't have those things.
We weren't playing with those
The thing was,
spirits.
is with the snap of our fingers and a twinkle in your eye, you can literally empty a land entirely.
Yes.
You damage 1 to each invader, all explorers die.
So everyone's
Every building
injured.
is wounded, but they're about to heal. But they have bonus health, but all damaged invaders get removed.
Love that card.
They just vanish.
Such a cool card.
Oh.
I never saw the combo with lightning though. Like you said, I forget that card almost instantly.
Yeah,
I
so
never
many
even
people
played with
forget Raging Storm.
I hate it. It's so overcosted.
And now it became our salvation.
It was.
For the mid game and early game. And so it was so cathartic, y'all. Remember when I was talking about that skyline? And I saw how great it was to see a big gap in that skyline.
Huge gap.
Oh,
but
just punch holes in it.
But Ryan, we had to start earning fear because we had an unfortunate thing happen with fear.
Remember in Terminator 2 when the liquid metal Terminator, even though they would like hit him with all these big shotgun blasts and whatnot, it put big holes in him. Boom.
It would knock him over.
And it's like, man, look at that damage it's doing. And it like squishes back together. That's kind of like the feeling I got when we were punching holes in them with the Vanish Softly and Raging Storm combo. It was great.
It was great.
But they kept coming back.
It wasn't
really
enough.
quick.
And no fear was being earned.
But it was buying us a ton of time.
It was giving us time to
Because we
grow.
probably would have had Proud Mighty Capital kill us if we didn't have that.
Yeah. So eventually we blighted out.
Yeah, we did. It was actually kind of funny because, you know, when it comes to Might Earth, you have the capacity to do really good damage, but you can also stall and defend. But usually, the more you defend, the more you need to. So honestly, in my gameplay style with Might Earth, I actually prefer to take the hits while dealing the hits, so that you can go and then just patch the holes later with Guard the Healing Land, and just fill in all the holes, all the gaps later.
And I have no defense to begin with, so I was blighting all the time.
So you're blighting quite well. So the thing was we had 2 blight left, and we're like, oh man,
this stinks.
So then we're like, we're fighting tooth and nail. We're probably gonna blight. I don't like.
Yeah,
blighting.
I wasn't defending the land that we were ravaging.
But we're like, with how this is going, it's probably likely we're gonna blight.
So first, let's flip the event card, see what we get.
Numinous Crisis.
Oh,
come on, not again. Numinous Crisis. You can auto blight the card, but you get paid for it, or you can just lose a bunch of other really useful stuff to keep that from happening. Honestly, I was like, we were probably gonna blight this turn. Like, no joke. We got 2 blight left. We may as well get paid for it. Honestly, seriously, let it blight. Let's just get paid for it.
Joke's on you. We already were gonna blight.
So I needed the energy. We were already gonna blight. I took 3. He took 3.
There we go. We blighted out. But we didn't get a blighted island card.
We got a still healthy island card.
Yes.
For me, it's honestly the first one I've ever had.
Is it?
There's a lot of blight cards in there, man.
It's one of the few ones I've had.
And I always get Memory Fades or Downward Spiral.
You do.
I always get those ones. So I never get a still healthy. I was like, hey,
nice.
yes, which one do we get? Invaders find the land to their liking.
That doesn't sound too good.
Oh no, you gotta be kidding me.
That doesn't sound too encouraging.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Just
read the card. Oh, depending on what terror level you're at, you add more fear to the fear pool.
What?
Oh, no. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Thankfully, we were in terror level 1, so I added 1. But we added even more
so instead of
fear to the fear pool.
Instead of 10 fear per card, 12.
We had
12 for
a
2-player
game.
It was a 3-player.
We had a 3rd player.
And they just stopped playing.
England already increases the amount of fear you have to do with their level 6. And now we increased it again. We have 50% more fear that we have to earn. Are you kidding me?
And we were still in terror level 1. We only had 3 fear cards earned.
I know! We're not fear spirits here!
We still had 10 cards to earn. That's 120 fear.
I'm a defender.
120 fear.
You're an attacker. We're not a fear team.
Where's Bringer when you need him?
Oh my word, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's why I thought we lost.
Numinous Crisis into this one. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's when I was like, okay, let's plan snacks out for the second game.
Right.
Is there any popcorn left? Honey, we're going to be playing Lanes of the Night.
Okay, no joke, that popcorn was amazing.
It was good popcorn. Laura makes mean popcorn.
Super, buttery. It's, salty, too. It was like Fairground.
It's like movie theater popcorn.
I thought so. I was about to make that comparison.
Popcorn.
I was like, that was great.
Shout out to Laura's popcorn.
Hey, so then eventually we, bladed again. So we bladed that.
Everyone thinking why didn't you let Laura play? Oh, she didn't want to play.
She didn't want to play. Yeah.
She's like, who are you playing?
Remember when in Scotland's episode we talked about fighting England and she said, I've done my time. She was not kidding.
She was not having it.
She was not having it. She's like,
painting the house.
She literally would rather paint their house. That's what she was doing.
That's what she was doing. We're like,
every now and then she'd come in, oh, hey, how's it going? It sucks. All right, well, have fun. Thanks.
Back to painting. She hates England so much.
Oh my goodness. And so, yeah, we played it again. And what did we get? Freaking Memory Fades!
No!
Are you kidding me?
So first we had extra fear.
The second worst blight card in the game, in my opinion. Are you kidding me? Yet again.
Losing presence, losing power cards.
Lose either a presence every turn or forget a power card every turn. Thankfully, it's not as bad as Downward Spiral because Downward Spiral is
no choice.
It's only a presence. This one you get to choose. But remember how I kept saying how I always get this one? I got it again!
And I shuffled.
I know, this was John's deck. What the heck?
Because it was funny, there's not much blight that goes on a still healthy island card. Yeah. So you're going to blight out from that pretty quickly. So we went to Memory Fades pretty quick.
Yeah.
In the next couple turns.
But at least they were able to get their +1 fear in the pool now.
Nice.
Oh my word.
Only 120 more fear to go.
We're supposed to be 8. 8 is what we're supposed to have. Now it's freaking 12.
That's 50% more fear we have to earn.
That's 12! So, that is why when I mentioned that I acquired Paralyzing Fright and playing it twice was so incredibly useful.
Yeah.
The whole Raging Storm Vanish Softly, as good as it was, isn't good enough. Because now we got a big fear problem, and there is no way in heck that we were getting a Terror 2 or Terror 3 victory at this point.
So we had figured out we're probably not going to lose to Proud and Mighty Capital from the lost condition. Because we were able to vanish them away, or you
honestly,
were destroying
we were doing
enough.
really good at treading water.
Yeah.
Not dying to Blight and not dying to Proud and Mighty
How about
Capital.
that Invader deck?
How about that Invader deck, though? Yeah. Like we said before, time was now becoming the greatest threat.
Who'd have thought?
And then you found Manifest Incarnation. Oh!
So, for those who remember, I did pull this with Finder. It's a very good card. Target land with a city.
Yeah, target land with a city. Pretty easy.
Pretty easy. 6 fear. Just right off the rip. 6 fear.
Oh, yeah. And lightning is even illustrated on the artwork.
I know. I love the artwork. It's really cool.
Playing with
lightning. And I was playing with lightning. 1 fear for each building and for each of your presence in target land. So there was a lot of buildings, and I was making sacred sites. So,
it was perfect.
It was so good.
Oh, it was so good.
Again, this is the cherry on top. You get to remove a city, remove a town, remove an explorer. It was huge.
Oh my goodness.
Because again, it is so hard to keep up damage.
That card gives so much fear.
So much fear.
Ridiculous.
And then I'm getting things off the island.
Yeah.
Getting that extra health
Remove
away.
again. Removing was
that
fantastic.
sidesteps extra health. I love that.
Yes, it sidesteps the extra health, and yet it still contributes to your fear condition.
That's true.
It's so
Because Vanish didn't contribute. This did.
It did not. Raging Storm and Vanish can get rid of more bad guys.
Right.
But this one helps you with the fear, though.
So much fear, because if you have the threshold of 3 sun and 3 moon, an additional 3 fear, invaders do -6 on the Ravage, because when you play this card, they then ravage in the land. But
thankfully,
-6.
the
So
fact that they didn't have bonus damage was great here, and so you would pull a lot of buildings away.
Negate the damage?
Like, I remember there's a time here or there where there's like a few explorers left. That's fine. -6 damage. You got it covered.
That was fine.
There were some times where we did that on a land where I went yoink and skip all invader actions.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, I'm sorry, were you going to attack? You know, like,
were you gonna do something about that?
Do something about that?
Something planned? Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. But that sounds like none of my business.
Sip on the tea. But I had one final pull.
Oh, yeah.
This, I think, might be one of the top cards versus England. We'll get into it eventually, but Twisted Flowers, Murmur, Ultimatums.
Both of those last two are new expansion cards, too,
I know. Good cards in Jagged Earth.
And Incarnation came from Branch and Claw.
Oh, that's true.
So both of these are like DLC cards.
Yeah.
Yet they work so well against England.
The card, 4 fear, add a strife. Cool. If the terror level is 2 or higher, remove 2 invaders. I pulled this when we were in terror level 2. So then I got to remove again. Any type of removal against England is huge.
Goodness, it was so great.
And then with the threshold, 3 moon, 2 air, 3 plant, 3 extra fear, and before the terror level check, 3 damage. So I was getting additional fear, and with that 3 damage, I would then pick out a town. But that's another fear. It's basically 4 extra fear.
We were like, we're actually finding some pretty decent cards here. And I'm repeating some of these, and I'm doing Year Perfect Stillness spams every now and then with Your Power Storm to keep us in the game. This is when we were like, we actually have something here.
Twisted Flowers, Manifest Incarnation.
Dude, Murmurs were so great.
Murmurs with Paralyzing Fright. We turned into Fear Spirits.
Honestly, yeah.
We did.
Seriously.
Because we didn't go for big hitting majors. You pulled Briny Deep, and we talked about that, remember?
But I was like, 9 energy, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Which is good, but, I can't copy that with Gift of Strength.
No.
I actually can copy Paralyzing Fright.
Yes.
I had some really good card pulls that time. It was Paralyzing Fright, Briny Deep, Sleep and Never Waken, or Fire and Flood.
Woof.
And Fire and Flood would have been great. Because I get to put bonus damage on that sucker.
In 2 lands.
In 2 lands. So I could have done 10 damage in 2 lands because I easily had enough for that card's thresholds, which add 4 damage.
Those are some heavy hitters you pulled.
So to do 4 damage in 2 lands, but then add 4 damage at the threshold and then 2 more. And then I even had some Badlands out there. I could have done some crazy stuff.
10, 12 damage?
Yeah, but the fear though. We looked and we're like, we got 2 turns left.
Oh no, now we got 1 turn left.
We gotta do Paralyzing Fright.
Yeah.
We gotta do Paralyzing Fright. Seriously, this game was one of the craziest because I don't think I've ever had to talk and plan in the various phases as much as we did this time.
Even at card
It was critical. Everything was critical. Pulling a minor versus a major was critical because we're like, okay, well, if I do this, I can get more elements because there's more element sharing in the minor deck. Well, what about over this? Oh, well, I can do damage and defense, but we need that. I'm not so sure here.
There's more isolation powers in the minor. Do I go for that? Or there's heavy hitters in the major deck.
Right, and we need, like, push has come to shove. We need
But we need
every
fear.
single...
How do we get the most fear?
That would be majors.
That would be majors.
Like, weighing statistics in our head, we've never done that as much as we did this
Because
time.
not only did they give us extra fear because they're England, but then our Blight card gave us extra fear. So now the odds were stacked even more against us being non-fear spirits.
Right. But yeah, you finding Murmurs.
Yeah.
Because you already had Manifest Incarnation in your hand.
But that's an expensive card. Murmurs.
It's pricey.
Yeah.
Manifest Incarnation.
6. So Twisted was 5. I know it's just 1, but 1 energy can go a long way.
And I was giving you one.
Give me 1 energy.
Spur on.
So if I'm saving 1 energy, so I don't have to play Manifest that much, and Twisted Flowers was still removing, still adding a lot of fear. We had to add fear, but we still had to keep things off the island. So these were some clutch cards.
Seriously. One thing that was really funny, I even repositioned once.
Talk about the reposition. That's a good tune.
I have never repositioned as Earth. This is my first time. I've only ever repositioned as Wildfire and as Green. With those 2 spirits, it's quite common.
With Green, you grow so fast.
Yeah.
And then with Wildfire, it does damage.
Yep. Instead of putting another presence on the board from one of your presence tracks, you can instead pull it off of the board and place it.
Yeah.
So the good thing is that it lets you move around. This is called repositioning. It's very rare because almost all the time you'd be like, heck no, I want to get a presence from my board because that's honestly, in my opinion, the most valuable thing about placing a presence. Of the plethora of benefits that placing a presence gives you, the uncovering a new statistic upgrade is easily the best.
Definitely.
So, I was already fully upgraded.
Because England's a long game, and you were able to grow so consistently.
Right. Earth will automatically be fully upgraded by turn 10, regardless of who you're fighting.
And you had Indomitable Claim.
And I had Indomitable Claim, so in turn 9, I was fully upgraded. By the way, I went top track this game.
You did.
I went top track up to 6, and then I started going bottom track. So I still had a stipend of card play because of my innate.
Because of might.
Which was fantastic. But yes, for the first time ever, as Earth, I repositioned, and it was for one of our Perfect Stillness spams.
You had to get over to me.
I had to get in range.
And help me out.
I had to get in range. Perfect Stillness can only go up to 1 away.
So that was when we were about to blight out. We were about to blight out. I couldn't defend. I couldn't murmur enough. I couldn't move enough. It's one of those things where England is so tough. And I said, Ryan, I need help.
Dude, oh my goodness. Might and Immense, each of those aspects catapulted these spirits to just new heights. Oh my gosh.
Very strong spirits now.
Seriously?
Not that base lightning or base earth are weak.
Or don't have value.
Or don't have value.
But base lightning and base earth could not have done what we just did.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Not against this adversary.
This was easily the best game I have ever seen with Earth.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that to give credit to myself. I mean like credit to the spirit. I've never seen them shoulder this heavy of a load and carry the team and still help. And you were carrying us just as much. But like they were able to hold that load and still pull out a win.
I mean, every tier is so good for Might Earth.
Right. Every single aspect of Might's new innate was crucial. The card play was critical. Both damage increases, critical.
Against England? Yeah.
Getting a power card was critical. And it's not just a minor power.
Like stone or something.
Any power.
Any power.
Major or minor. That is how I got the majority of my cards. When I'm playing as Earth, I hardly ever go for growth option 2. It's basically 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3.
So you're doing it, yeah.
Because 3 is an energy spike, and 1 is a reclaim. 2 is how you get cards.
Which is weird because usually when you reclaim, you gain a power card, not with Earth.
Right. But the thing is, I'm spending so much energy because it says that I can get 1 more card play, but whatever card I play, I have to spend 1 more for it. That's the catch. So I'm burning through a little bit more energy than usual. So my energy spike is actually looking a little bit more enticing to keep choosing, right?
Sure.
So the thing is if I can go ahead and get a power card from my innate, I don't need to do growth option 2. That is how I got all of those cards.
Spur?
That's how I got Spur. That's how I got Indomitable Claim. How I got Paralyzing Fright.
Which one was
from that innate. But Lightning, this was the most damaging I've ever seen Lightning.
I'm able to play
you're
majors
like,
now.
okay, I'll just do a Pillar Living Flame over here and Land Thrashing in Furious Pain over there. And here's another Vanish Softly Away. Here's a Manifest Incarnation. Like, what?
What's nice about Immense Lightning is you don't have to get into a reclaim loop because you're not able to play as many cards.
And you can get elements.
So
baby.
I am able to stretch out so I can grow more. So I was also fully maxed out by the end of the game.
Yeah.
So that 5 energy on the energy track turns into 10.
Seriously.
And then I'm getting energy for reclaiming.
Oh.
So I'm getting 11 energy.
And Thundering Destruction was still so good.
Yes.
Destroying buildings. England can't stop the word
So
destroy.
I was still triggering that. Ryan was giving me an extra card play. So I could get up to 4 card plays, which is huge. So I can
when another one of these card plays is one of these majors.
Yeah. So I can play 4 majors. For each of those majors, I can gain 2 elements, so I can almost fully unlock Thundering Destruction.
Right.
So I am just destroying everything.
And sometimes you were going to do 3 major powers, and then with your 4th, you said, hey, I'll do a Lightning Spoon. I'll tack that on.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, sure.
This is why it was so great that I was playing as a character that had a phenomenal reclaim cycle. From like mid-game for the rest of it into the late game, I pretty much reclaimed. I think I may have, with the exception of once, maybe twice.
You would know better than me.
I reclaimed every single turn.
Which you can with Earth.
And with Earth, you can. Because I was getting 8 energy, which is a lot.
It is a lot.
And I was able to get my Perfect Stillness back, and my Guard the Healing Land, and my Rituals of Destruction, so that I was able to keep that 5 fear.
And Spur.
And more importantly, Spur. Remember when John kept saying, hey, do you have it? Hey, do you have it? Hey, do you have it? I actually did. In the same way that we spammed Reclaim for our Brandenburg game so that green could give Gift of Proliferation to Wildfire.
You turned around and helped me out.
I did the exact same thing
Thank
here.
you, buddy.
We reclaimed and consistently got Spur so I can give it to John for Immense Lightning to get another card play.
So then I could play Power Storm and give you 3 energy and let you repeat. It was like you doing this, and then I can do this, and then you can do that.
Right, I said need. I didn't say want. I need to get Perfect Stillness out there at least 3 times. And that is expensive, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 to play. I have Gift of Strength, so that's another copy of it for free.
And
but
then
you Power Storm.
But you have to pay for it.
Right, but you give me 3 energy so that I'm playing it 3 times, although I'm only paying for it once.
Nice.
Which is great.
Yep.
But then Power Storm's like, hey, you can do it again, but you gotta pay for it. So I gotta pay for it. So, yeah, whether it was Guard the Healing Land or Perfect Stillness, I was gassing myself every single turn.
We needed all those repeats.
I said that already, but you can see now where all my energy was going. Oh my goodness. I do have a lot of expensive, great cards. Guard the Healing Land is 3, Perfect Stillness is 3, Paralyzing Fright is 4, Indomitable Claim is 4. Yeah, it's fun, but it's odd to be someone as rich as Earth. It's like, ha, 8 energy this turn. Ha, 10 energy this turn.
Yeah.
All gone. Completely bankrupt. And that's fine. We had to give it our all. Spending my energy to the last drop made me feel as if I was just swinging for the fences.
Well, that's what England does.
Right.
I don't think many spirits have England built in their kits. I think there's Ocean and Thunderspeaker.
Yeah.
After that, you have to adapt. You have to warp. You have to change because England, like you said, Ryan, adds extra fear, adds extra health, adds extra builds. So much.
Prevention has never been better.
Yeah.
Defense wasn't so great. We've been saying it this whole time.
You can stop them.
Right. That's why my Fruitful Earth and Rituals combo was more for the offense and fear than it was for the prevention of builds, because they don't really get stopped by that combo anymore. And like I said with Might Earth, it was better to take hits while dealing hits and then go to patch them up later with Guard the Healing Land than to just stop them to begin with.
Yeah.
Because we needed that fear and we needed that damage, even if it was just Town City, Town City, Town City. That's 5 fear a turn. It's not bad.
I think you have to go for majors against England.
Seriously.
It's a must.
And with what you said, because of this, that is how we got independent resolve to happen only once.
The double
when
builds
high
only
immigration double builds. That only happened once, and it happened in the first turn that it was able to, like 3 or 4. So from then on, we had a fear card every single turn, sometimes 2 or 3.
Understands for non-fear spirits who have to earn 12 fear for a card. That is pretty good. That's hard to do, to never have that happen.
And the thing with England is you hear that they have 13 fear cards. You're like, that doesn't sound so bad.
No, that's not bad.
But yeah, At 12 fear for 2 players, it was rough.
What happened to us, yeah.
Now, by the time that we had that happen to us, we had already gained 30 fear before we blighted.
We had 3 cards, yeah.
But then, after we blighted, we had that fear increase. Which means that we needed to get 120 fear after it blighted.
So to win the game, how much total fear did we earn?
We had to get 150. As Earth and Lightning.
150, 2-player game.
150!
That's insane.
Oh, but we did it with all of these manifest incarnations.
The whole game was
and
uphill.
Murmurs.
The whole game was running uphill.
Paralyzing fright. Yeah, it was uphill the whole time. Oh,
we
gosh.
never had our footing.
Yeah. I can see why some people get a thrill out of getting a win on a game that's so hard.
We were spent afterwards.
Wow, I was just drained. I was telling you, and we were both saying, the excitement and happiness of this victory is going to hit me maybe on the way to work tomorrow or something like that.
When I've slept it off.
We did it! Oh, that was so great!
Oh, it was hard, but we had to earn it.
We were talking about our fear trust falls. We had one pivotal fear card.
Not gonna lie, our event and fear cards that we got, not bad.
Not bad.
We had some pretty good ones. Sure, not all were winners. We had one that was pretty hilarious. We had one where it's like, okay, add a beast in a land that's either unblighted or it doesn't have a town.
Oh.
Not a single land.
So we didn't add any
on
beasts
the entire board that we couldn't do it.
How many beasts did we add?
Sometimes we had to add to explorers, which was, you know, not so bad because they didn't really do much with explorers, but it's never good. There were some other ones that were like, really? Oh, come on.
We never had Farmer Seek the Dawn for aid.
Never had missionaries.
Yeah, we had
never
some
had Outpaced.
Thank goodness.
Oh, we had Numinous Crisis.
Yeah.
But honestly, that was like the only famous one that we had.
We got, for our fear card, Explorers Are Reluctant.
Oh.
At Terror level 2.
Yep.
It says, skip the next normal explorer. During the next invader phase, draw an additional explorer card. We got a turn off.
Yes, we did. And what card did we skip? We pulled the coastal land card.
Yeah.
We skipped the coastal land. Oh, that was huge. And that one holds on to the card. It creates a gap in the bad guy hallway of doom.
Yeah, basically pauses their game.
It pauses them. That means you have a brief reprieve.
They don't build one turn.
And in another term,
they don't ravage. And then they don't build again because they're England.
Remember when I said I did a heavy hit? It was when they weren't ravaging. I'm like, I gotta hit them really hard.
Hit them while they're down.
I hit them with Rituals of Destruction. I did it twice because you were doing Power Storm. I did Draw the Fruitful Earth 4 times so I could gather twice and then Rituals of Destruction and then go and do that same cycle in another land. Gather with Draw the Fruitful Earth twice and Rituals of Destruction again. But I did that in the land that I had Thriving Choke Fungus. And so there were 2 bad lands there. And so that was the land that I had done Territorial Strife. So it's 3 damage to Towner Explorers.
Okay, pretty good.
But Badlands.
Oh.
Now it's 4 and 5.
Oh.
But then Might. I had a 6 and a 7.
Yes.
So for free, I had that card, which did 7, and then I did 9 from a card from my starting hand.
Wow.
So between those 2, I did 16 damage.
Basically major type level of
and
damage.
Thriving Choke Fungus costs 1. So with just 2 minors and one of my starting hand cards, I was able to do 16 damage in 1 land.
And we needed every bit of that damage.
And then in the other land, I only had 1 Badlands. I didn't play Territorial Strife there, but still being able to do 8 additional damage elsewhere was great. That was the turn. Because of Explorers Are Reluctant, that bought us a window. And that window changes. You have a break from exploring. You have a break from building. You have a break from ravaging. And a break from other building.
Another build.
But my point being was that it was phenomenal that we had that momentary reprieve, that breath of fresh air. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to hit him as hard as I possibly can because I knew that we weren't going to be attacking. My stalling cards were in the discard. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave them there. I'm going to do an energy spike so I could get ready for this massive attack. And that is how I was able to afford it all because I had 2 more energy.
Because with repeats from Power Storm, you still have to pay for it.
Right. Pardon my interruption, but I have to step in here real quick. Keeping in line with the preserving of the integrity of this game, as well as this show, especially in mind of the responsibility that we have as content creators, it's important to identify mistakes and make the appropriate corrections when necessary. We had misinterpreted the threshold effect of Power Storm and used it incorrectly. Power Storm lets you repeat cards, yes, but they have to be separate cards. This means I would have been able to use Draw of the Fruitful Earth a total of 3 times instead of 4. I would have played it once naturally, a second time because of Gift of Strength, and a third because of Power Storm. The result of this means my attack would have dealt 3 less damage and caused 2 less fear. That damage was used on a town, and therefore this means that we should have had 1 more town on the board and 3 less fear gained that turn. We went back to check the footage of the game, and we're glad to report that this is not a critical error that would have changed the outcome of that game. The following turn, we used Year of Perfect Stillness in that land that the town would have been in, and it would have done nothing. Furthermore, on the final turn where we gained 16 fear, we only needed 9 to win. So if we were to have needed 12 fear, like we were supposed to, then we still would have been victorious. What is important here is that we clarify the misuse of Power Storm. That was my fault, and like I always like to tell myself, it's never too late to learn. While there are many things to remember in a game that is this complex, I still have the responsibility to get things right. I want to give a special thank you to Aaron for pointing this out and bringing it to our attention. This went right over my head, and I didn't even notice. I sincerely apologize both for the mistake and for the interruption of the program. I'll send you back to it.
You always talk about efficient damage. With England, I don't think we ever wasted any damage.
No, you will never waste your damage on them.
Hence Thunder Speaker being very good.
Yep.
Or Ocean or something.
This is that hypothetical doomsday scenario where you do not care about commonalities and normal advice.
No.
This is the upper echelon of ridiculous cheese that you have to pull in order to win. So
because if you're not a Thunder Speaker, then you have to be throwing out Badlands, Majors, playing Might
You gotta
Earth.
set the field, do whatever
you
it
can
takes
to win.
Whatever it takes.
I have like this little tier list kind of set up for Majors.
Yeah.
I think you need either high damage or like destroy effect or Badland ending Majors. Something to do damage. I think you need remove effect Majors. I think you need high fear Majors and then action skipping Majors. I think that is like,
that's a lot.
That's what you're looking for.
That's perfect against England.
There's like, support cards always good. Power Storm came in handy, but we needed high fear. We needed high damage. We needed remove.
You
Badlands.
could throw in repeats into that list.
Repeats.
Because everything you just listed isn't enough by itself. Let's do it again, baby.
It's just amazing how much you need against them. It's like Jungle Hunger's really good, but maybe you need to replay that repeats or something.
Right. We also had Theological Strife, which was fantastic at Terror 3. You strife an invader and they attack their friends. So we targeted cities, obviously. And so we had them take out a town. Hey, we got a city that's strife now, and we have a town that just died. So we got a fear from that, which is good. We did get Scapegoats. Love it. Terror 1. Crap.
Oh, no.
So, oh well. That wasn't so lucky, but yeah. So we did have some luck with the Fear and Event cards. We did have some very bad luck with Numinous Crisis and Memory Fades. So
we had some good luck with card pulls.
Very good luck with card pulls.
Pulls.
I'd say we had good RNG. Not great, but good.
Yeah, Numinous Crisis was rough.
Because,
and then the Still Healthy Islands.
And the invaders find the land to their liking.
That was also really bad.
It really sucked. One thing that's hilarious, I didn't spread my presence.
Oh.
Not really. I did the thing where I get 3 sacred sites on my board, and where they are, I can hit every single land on my board within range 1 of a sacred site.
Which is always good to do.
Which is good. Ironically, I triple stacked my sacred sites. I was putting 3 on my sacred sites. Why? Because that means I could take a hit there, lose a presence, and still have a sacred site online.
Because we were blighting.
Because we were blighting. But I also didn't want to go all the way out there in all these various lands, so stacking in one spot here and there was a measure of me avoiding incoming damage.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep my sacred sites safe.
Of course. Because you need them for land targeting powers.
Right.
Yeah.
I lost 5 presents.
Well, I lost 6.
You lost 6.
I lost half my presents, basically. That's okay. We were stretched a little thin. That's going to happen with England.
Yeah, we lost 11 presents.
What makes this win more for me is we didn't bring a Thunder Speaker. We didn't have Ocean's dumpster disposal at our disposal.
At our disposal. Nice.
I get it.
We didn't have their disposal at our disposal.
Wait, at our garbage? Or...
I feel you, though.
We didn't have the cheese.
Manifestation of Power and Glory.
No.
Or Firestorm. Or a Snakequake.
No.
I don't even think a Snakequake would have done all that much.
No.
It would have been great. Yeah.
Tickled them a little bit.
Right.
Or we didn't have the ocean tile being open for control powers.
We didn't have Keeper doing a really good 12 damage Towering
No.
Wrath. We didn't have a stone reflecting all of it back.
We didn't have Bringer doing massive amounts of fear or
Right.
something. We had strong spirits. I will say that, though.
Yeah.
I think we had some good
Oh
spirits.
my goodness. Might and Immense. They showed their brawn this game.
I want people to try Might again. I think people know about Immense. People like Immense and they like playing
Yep.
majors. Try Might again.
Seriously.
I know Earth, people think, it's like slow or boring or just defense.
Yep.
Might is an offensive powerhouse.
It's amazing.
Even against England.
I would recommend that you do growth 1 and 3 consistently.
Just keep doing that.
You can do growth 2 until you get your new innate maxed out. And then from then on, just keep alternating between 1 and 3.
Yep.
Don't worry about reclaiming. Might Earth is fantastic with it.
Yep.
Go top track up until like about 4 or 6, depending on your game. And you can still
Get card
you can
plays.
afford card plays
Yeah.
with your new innate.
Mm-hmm.
And then, honestly, use Draw the Fruitful Earth combo to secure really good progress in your early game.
Right.
And then remember to use Rituals of Destruction to get bonus fear and do 7 damage with it. And then you can transition into so many other things.
Yeah.
Grab minors
Sure.
if you want, because then you can go ahead and just add damage to them. Remember how we had Sunset's Fire multiple episodes ago that we were able to make into a Baby Fire and Flood with Might Earth?
Right.
But then you still have enough energy to totally go for mages if you want to also.
But you can spam minors because you can get to 5 card plays.
And you can prevent any action,
peak
and
at
you
4,
can
right?
stop attacks coming in.
Yeah.
You can remove Blight still.
Because they get 4 card plays
Right.
and then Might gets a 5th?
Yeah.
That's good. 5 card
It's
plays?
amazing.
That's huge.
And with Might Earth, I would just remind you one thing for me that has gotten the most success is take the hits. Yes,
Okay.
lose the presence, take the hit, and deal damage back.
Because you don't have that steady defense anymore,
Honestly,
Ryan. That's tough.
Here's the thing.
There goes those defend 3s.
Prioritize Draw the Fruitful Earth and Rituals of Destruction over Guard the Healing Land and Year of Perfect Stillness.
Wow.
Take the hit.
Wow.
Do it. It's better to just take a left to the jaw.
Okay.
And also hit them with the right hook at the same time.
Yeah, huge uppercut.
Because you have a great spackle card with Guard the Healing Land. You can
Right.
go and stitch yourself up with that card. Sure, depending on your adversary, things might be different.
Yeah.
But the mentality I'm telling you is if you play them more as an aggressive counter attacker, meaning, ow, I took a hit, but I counterattack.
Almost
Ha!
like a stone in a
Yeah,
way.
I agree. I consider Stone and Keeper to be counterattacking
Definitely.
defenders. I can see the argument for Serpent being a good counterattacking
Okay,
defender.
yep.
And Might Earth yields for me the most success.
Definitely.
With taking a hit and dealing it. And that sounds so nerve-wracking. Because you're like, damage, blight, I'm gonna die. Yep. Well, that's fine, because if you were to completely block it, you are spending more energy because both Guard the Healing Land and Year of Perfect Stillness, if those are the only 2 that you're playing, that's 3 for each. So it's 6. Rituals and Draw is 4 and 4. And 4. Now with Might, it's going to be 5. You only have 1 card play. You get the idea. But it's cheaper. It's
Right.
cheaper and slower to take the hit and deal it back, but you're dealing it back.
Yeah, because with newer players, it's kind of scary to take those hits. I
Right.
remember being very scared of Blight early on, Ryan.
Right, you
or
can't
lose
do
presence.
the Sword and Shield build with Might Earth because you auto-defend and Dahan will counterattack for you. You gotta be your own offense now. Yes, you use Dahan, and they can help you here or there, but in this case, it was not enough to rely on Dahan counterattacks.
Well, England's its own monster.
Right, and you don't have the 3 defense anymore.
Right.
So just take the hit, you're fine. I only lost 5 presence.
Yeah.
Because it is much better to take the hit and deal it back so that the lands are clear or clearer than to perfectly stop it. I never blighted. Yay, but now there's twice as many people because they never left.
Yeah.
So, that said, play it smart on the high difficulties. Spam that sucker when someone gets Power Storm and you get Gift of Strength highly upgraded, because that way Year Perfect Stillness, when happening 3 times or even 4, is stopping literally 7 or 8 actions. So trust me, I am not devaluing Guard the Healing Land nor Year Perfect Stillness. I'm telling you to do those second, not first.
What might does for me that makes them so much stronger, just better in my mind, is they unlock Gift of Strength quicker, more consistent, much faster, consistent.
Yes.
So I think one of the strongest
and that's another reason
in the game.
That's another reason.
Is so much more accessible, and you can put it on someone else or yourself. It's in any spirit.
Find
target.
A miner that costs 0 or 1 or something that's very cheap.
Play with green.
And you can repeat it with Gift of Strength.
Play with Spread of Rampant Green.
You can't copy your Perfect Stillness for a while until you're mid-game.
That's okay.
Or guard the Healing
But
Land.
one costing powers, you can.
You can, which is why it's good to do Draw the Fruitful Earth early on.
And in a team setting, there's a lot of 1 costing or 0 costing power cards. There's Lightning Spoon, there's Gift of Proliferation, there's Boon of Vigor, there's Gift of Abundance. There are strong cards that you can copy, and then they can play again. That's game-breaking.
Yes.
Game-breaking.
Gift of Strength, Gift of Proliferation, or Gift of Abundance so that Serpent can wake up faster.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes. Someone else can be faster with Lightning Spoon. Someone else can get energy from Boon of Vigor. Someone else can bring presence back from Gift of Abundance. It's insane.
Right. Oh, I just copied Blur the Arc of Years again.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Right. The opportunities for you to use that card
and
is
these are
amazing.
just 1 costing powers. You can have someone repeat a major.
Right.
For free.
Seriously. And the thing is, like you just said, it's without paying.
Power Storm makes you pay.
So many things let you repeat. And repeats in this game are phenomenal.
That's great.
But oh, so many of them require you to pay the cost. That's fair. What you get is so good that I do not care if I have to pay it again. It's amazing.
What if I get to play Pillar of Living Flame twice?
Yeah.
The second time's for free.
Yeah.
What?
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 What? And the thing is no one ever complained about how great Gift of Strength was. They always complained about not getting it. Well, now you can.
Now you can complain
now
about
you
that.
can.
Now with Might.
And
now when you're gaining Myron powers from Might and able to trigger it.
That you have a phenomenal reclaim cycle.
Yes.
You have a platform that can go and carry significant weight into the high difficulties, can do these crazy repeats.
Might is strong. They just went against the hardest adversary in the game and won. With everything against them, with extra fear and more extra fear.
Right,
and
on
extra
top of
build,
that.
and bad events.
Right.
And, not the best fear cards at times. Like, we won with Might.
Yeah. This was like one of those playing card buildings. You know, that they stack all the playing cards on each other where one is leaning up against another, which is leaning up against another.
Yeah, and if you like breathe or sneeze, they'll tumble. Yeah.
Right. But Might and Immense Lightning, without either of them, we would have died. It was so incredibly crucial that you had so much of your plays in our game.
Ironically, I actually don't have a lot of strats for Immense because it kind of turns into a shifting memory. Whatever mages you pull,
use them.
That's what you become.
Yeah.
So I know that's like, John, where are the strats? You're kind of like a shifting memory. You can gain elements.
You might be shocked at how simple just being a major power slugger can be.
Yeah.
Some spirits can be major power sluggers. Serpent can.
Yes.
Memory can.
Keeper.
Stone. In this case, Immense Lightning. Starlight.
There you go.
Point being, never underestimate the power of a major power slinger.
And you need them against England, who are throwing so many buildings with extra health and extra fear at you.
You know what's funny? We couldn't focus on one thing against England.
Not one.
We really couldn't. At no point could we forego focusing on one thing to go heavy on another. We had to do a little bit of everything. We had to do damage. We had to do destroy effects. We needed remove effects. To keep the populations down. We needed defense here or there. Yes, defense even.
Yeah.
There are times when I chose Guard the Healing Land over your Perfect Stillness. There were still times where I needed that.
We needed blight removal.
We needed blight removal. We needed, I cannot stress that enough, prevention. We needed prevention, but we also needed fear. Like you said, on our second to last turn, you were like, let's just go for fear.
I pleaded with you. Should we just go for fear? Let's just try and win early.
I was like, I don't think we can.
We didn't have enough in the tank.
Because we had 3 blight on the card. And if we just went for fear, we would disengage from the board game state and they would blight definitely at least 3 times.
And we would lose.
So we still needed to stay with the steady Eddie, do a little bit of everything.
You told me to stay the course, and I'm glad we did.
And go halvesies on it all. Because that is how we were able to just secure it enough for the final sprint. And the final sprint was 16 fear.
2 paralyzing frights.
2 paralyzing frights.
Wow.
We even stopped the game and got our calculators out. How much fear do we need to do to win this game? How much do we actually need to do? And it was 48. I was like, okay, let's see here. We need to do this. We need to do this. Like, we've never done that The thing was funny is we were like, okay, we always take a picture of the board when we were done with these matches.
Yeah.
And we usually like to, even though we are aware of the fact that we're going to win sometimes, let's still finish out the turn.
Yeah.
Sometimes just to see how clear, things would have gone. Yeah, we didn't even bother. We were like, just end the freaking game. Just end this.
3 hours and 15 minutes later.
Oh, yeah. And so we were just like, just get the thing done. So I was like, all right, what do I need to do to get its threshold? And John, all right, what do you need to do to get Power Storm? All right, let's do that. Here we go. Plant, got my threshold, 16 fear, and we are out of here.
Wow. It is fitting that England gave us our toughest fight, our longest fight, our uphill battle, our most stressful fight.
Oh, gosh.
We thought we lost on turn 3.
Yeah.
Like, they were the toughest. Final boss.
They were the final boss, and it was a worthy foe.
But
my goodness.
We came out victorious.
But we did it!
Well done, sir.
Oh, man, now I feel like Phil Coulson. I'm just going to go on my vacation to Tahiti. I've earned it, baby. I've slung through these adversaries. Yeah.
At level 6 difficulty, we did it.
We did it. I'm happy with it. Like I said, I think the happiness of it is going to seep in a little bit later as days go on.
Sure.
Because still I'm just like, I don't
know how we pull. I still at times think back. I'm like, how do we pull that off?
By teamwork, by cooperation, and by doing a little bit of everything.
And by some luck.
And luck. And luck. I do like what you said. If I had to tell someone what really to focus on when it comes to majors, damage is good if you can get the bonuses out there. Destroy effects and even remove effects. Prevention and fear. And then with a side of blight removal.
Yeah. But like some of those beast majors, maybe not so good. Sea monsters is always good. But you know what I'm saying? Some of those...
If you're the appropriate character, if you are...
It always
sharp fangs and you get sea monsters early, I mean, you can just dominate. So you can get it. I'm just saying, like, general. Or
there's, like, Irresistible Call when you're gathering a bunch of buildings. That's usually good, but you don't want a lot of buildings in one land. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the control powers may not so good. You want to remove, you want to destroy, you want to fear.
Yep. Briny Deep, if you can afford it, great. If you can afford consistently draw towards a consuming void, great. There's going to be so many targets. Honestly, England might be one of the best candidates for draw towards a consuming void.
Volcanic Eruption's really good.
Volcanic Eruption would be good. France wouldn't be bad either, I suppose.
Yeah.
Too. Habsburg is also good because
basically the heavy hitters, expensive majors.
But also the people that just spam the buildings out there would really benefit from that.
Here's a hot take.
What's up?
I don't know if disease majors are all that good. I would go for disease minors. They're cheaper and basically do the same.
Disease was really good though.
I think there's so many in the minor deck.
There are in the minors.
I don't know if it's worth paying. There is Blood Rack Plague and it adds 2 disease. But I don't know. For some reason, I would rather go in the minors for disease than in the major. And when I'm going for majors, I would rather go for heavy hitters, remove fear.
Yeah, that's a preferential subjective stand, but I feel it. I can see where you're coming from.
Because I think for a minor, I'd rather pay 1 energy and add a disease type of thing. So that's just my take.
Oof. Oh, we
well
did it,
done.
buddy.
Well done.
Well done. Well done, sir. Well...
Oh, that's enough strats.
That's enough strats. I think that's enough for us this time. I hope you didn't mind.
That's all we got.
This whole adversary series, honestly. I hope this was helpful for you. It was kind of funny. I got messaged by a lot of people saying, good luck against England. And a lot of people were saying, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do it. And I'm like, me neither, fam. Yeah. I'm not sure either. We'll see.
And we didn't exactly pick the counter
But
picks.
we did it with poetic peeps.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
That's good. We're riding off into the sunset.
Yeah, we're riding off into the sunset. But we got a lot more to talk about. We got to hear about what you all had to say.
Here's where the strats come into play.
We got a ton of feedback for this one.
So many comments. Thank you, everyone. But that's till next time. How fitting that for our finale of this series, we have the survey with the most amount of feedback. I believe it.
It's going to be great. We are ending with some fireworks, y'all. England. This is great. I'm glad we saved them for last because this is just bombastic and just so much feedback and it's just so involved and there's just this, there's this excitement, there's this nervousness, and people are saying like, oh, because of you, I'm trying it out now. And I'm like, yes, get out there, let's try it, let's do it, let's all fight them together. We're going to take some losses, we're going to lose some friends along the way, but we're going to do it.
I can't wait to read them too, because we like to read them cold reads, like we've said, so I can't wait to see what you all have to say.
I know, see you on the other side, but we are here on that other side that we survived. Hopefully, those who are attempting it will appear soon. But until next week, we will catch you guys on the Full Liberty Flip.
Peace out!
Peace out! thank you for listening to this episode of the Kindred Spirit Podcast. We appreciate you taking the time to do so. Feel free to visit us on our Instagram and Facebook page. You can find me on our Facebook page at the Kindred Spirit Podcast. To get a hold of John, check out our Instagram page at the KSP123. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in future episodes.